Grab $1,000. Cavaliers are off tonight. They will play tomorrow night in Oklahoma City against the Thunder. That'll be an 8 o'clock tip. I read it. You know, sometimes you'll read something too quickly and your brain will fill in the words. And I read Steph Curry, Andrew Wiggins graded in loss to Cavs. And I read it as traded to Cavs. And I was like, well, that can't be the case. Of course, a big homecoming for Andrew Wiggins for the big cup of coffee.
And
that he
Steph Curry, in a way. He was born in Akron.
He never played for the Cavs, though, right? Didn't Andrew Wiggins get drafted to the Cavs?
He got drafted to the Cavs and traded. No, he was traded before he played.
Oh, was he really?
Game, yeah.
Who's the guy who came and really flopped? That,
Anthony Bennett.
Anthony Bennett. Wiggins is Canadian, though, yeah? Or are they both Canadian?
They're both Canadian, I believe.
All these Canadian basketball players. Man. Anywho.
And Tristan Thompson's Canadian.
I'm sorry?
Tristan Thompson's also Canadian.
Right. You think those guys sit around talking about maple syrup?
I mean,
or the Tragically Hip?
I'm sure.
Or Drake?
I think probably Drake. Drake for sure.
You think they do?
Mm-hmm.
Man, that would be I'd love to be a fly on the wall for that. Andrew Wiggins, Tristan Thompson, and Anthony Bennett sitting around talking about Drake and maple syrup. Of course, they'd probably be talking about...
multiple guys hounding Curry.
Yeah, they'd be talking about that, too.
Well, there is a pretty good international scene up there, so in Toronto, where they're from.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, they're going to be talking about probably Indian food and other Asian food and stuff like that.
A lot of multiple Chinatowns there in Toronto. So, Cavs tomorrow night. Poundcake, what were you listening to in the break? I went back to get something out of my locker, and Poundcake's blasting music in his studio.
Whitney Houston Christmas album.
I was when I was getting this stuff out of my locker, I was trying to kind of hear what it was. It didn't sound like Whitney Houston to me. Was that a live recording?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was her Christmas album. It was just called One Wish. There was I was listening to Little Drummer Boy and then The First Noel.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a Christmas album.
All right, and that's something that you have on YouTube, or that's something that you play?
There's her album's just on YouTube. Yeah.
Gotcha.
What's the sound when it gets to the little drummer boy playing the drum?
That's exactly how that song goes. If you recall, it goes, I come to you. Uh-huh.
Not parumpa-pum-pum.
It is parumpa-pum-pum.
That's his parumpa-pum.
Well, then why didn't you do parumpa-pum-pum?
Because at the end, it's...
Nobody's talking about the end.
Well,
at the end. Well, you got me there. I would not know how that song ends. So you do have me there. Joan Jett did it. Bob Seger did it. Everybody's done it. But I don't know how it ends.
for these soundproof doors.
They're not soundproof.
They're not soundproof at all.
None of these studios are soundproof. Why would you ever think that they would build radio station studios soundproof? No, these are not soundproof. If there's more than 3 people out in the suite, they're farting in unison. We can hear it in here.
I know.
Yeah, news sure travels fast.
What is this? The Bing Crosby? Come on, man. Give me the...
He's got to do the cool crooner warm-up.
This is the one with David Bowie. But I just want to hear the end.
What kind of singing?
Here's the end.
So slow.
Can it be?
No, there's no parumpa-pa-pa. There's nothing. What did you do? There's none of that in there.
Well, you're not listening to the Whitney Houston Christmas album. I don't know what it's like on the radio.
Oh, on hers it is. Okay. I didn't know that it was specific to that.
I didn't know either, but I've only listened to Little Drummer Boy by Whitney Houston and I forget who else. Maybe all my Christmas albums are like soulful. Like I listened to the Braxtons and then Whitney Houston. I don't know. I mean, Mariah Carey's is great because she's like the only living icon that I actually remotely listen to. But, it's not as
Wait. Let me dissect that. The only living icon that you remotely listen to.
Yeah.
Huh.
Like I know her catalog is like the only catalog I know. And I'm still able to see her in concert. Like Toni Braxton doesn't tour anymore. Tina Turner's deceased. Whitney Houston's deceased. Celine Dion doesn't tour anymore. So out of all the living legends, the people that I consider legends, she is the one that's still touring.
I don't even think we have that Whitney one in the thing here, in my system.
It would probably be R&B. I don't know if we would even have it. I mean, this was 2003 when it came out, maybe?
Yeah, they all just kind of end with the vocals. All these versions end with vocals. Me and my drum.
You gotta get that live version.
Uh-huh. See if I can find that Whitney. Oh, here's the end of it there.
It's the Rambo version.
I can't help it, if you're watching the show, I'm so full of the spirit, Bill. Now that we have our Christmas tree back here,
inspired me.
I had to physically remove our bureau chief map so they could bring the Christmas tree in here, since Magic is going to be switching to Christmas very soon. Of course, we share this studio with the Mark
Nolan show.
Nolan
There's no way to predict
show.
what day they're going to switch.
We share the studio with Mark Nolan. He's in here in the morning. And so they're setting up all of their Christmas things around here. And so that requires me to remove temporarily our bureau chief map. Now, I love having the bureau chief map for a couple of reasons. One, it allows people who watch the show live at alancoxshow.com to really kind of get a sense of what's going on nationwide with this program in the iHeartRadio app. And the other reason I love it is because our big boss Keith Hotchkiss, hates it. And so that alone is reason enough.
He hates the bureau chief map.
Hates the map being in here. Because I don't think they want anything in these studios that have any kind of individual touch or anything like that.
That's nice.
And so I just say, well, and listen, I'm not trying to get on people's bad sides, but that's a prop that has served us long on this program, and I enjoy it. But when Christmas time comes, that all gets moved. Now, what are you going to do? Well, one more legend makes a choice, and I think he chose wisely. Former Cleveland Indian Grady Sizemore has joined the Chicago White Sox, and White Sox legend Jim Thome has welcomed him with open arms to the White Sox organization. Of course, Grady Sizemore, whose career was cut terribly short. He was a young man when he had to stop playing baseball. When I first moved to Cleveland, one of the very first appearances I did was a charity function with Grady Sizemore. And he was a nice guy, didn't know who he was, but it became very clear to me very quickly that he was a big deal. And there were all of these women there that called themselves Grady's Ladies. And I was like, that's pretty sweet. I thought it was cool enough that your name is Sizemore and you're a baseball player, but what can I tell you? He must have gotten a little bug in his ear from White Sox legend Jim Thome, who said, hey, come to Chicago. You'll have a great time. And so that's what's happening. Grady Sizemore joining the coaching staff of the Chicago White Sox. And if there's anything they need right now, it is coaches. They need something because they stink. So maybe I'll hit him up and go, hey, do you remember me? I did a charity event with you over a decade ago. Of course, he'll say, no, get out of my face. And I'll say, okay, well, huh?
Get out of my face, old man.
That's exactly what he'll say. And I'll say, well, and I'll try to jog his memory. And even that will fail. I don't have any connects there with the organization.
Get out of my face, old man.
Right. So, Grady Sizemore did do a couple of things, I think, here with the Guardians a few years back. But they, from what I can tell, unceremoniously kicked him to the curb. And so rather than wander in the wilderness of Major League Baseball, he found a new gig. And so congratulations to him and congratulations to my Chicago White Sox. I don't know what he'll do for them, but they need a lot of help.
Nowhere to go but up.
Nowhere to go but up.
He was the hot commodity when I was in high school.
So beautiful. He's just a beautiful man.
So my high school cheerleading coach, okay, follow this. My high school cheerleading coach, her roommate in college married Travis Hafner. So my high school cheerleading coach went to the wedding. And she came back to practice that following Monday with pictures of her and Grady Sizemore, and we were all losing our minds. Like 14-year-old girls, like, I can't believe you actually met him. We're like freaking out. Oh, yeah.
14-year-old girls.
Asking her all these questions about him. She said he was kind of a prick, that he like wasn't, like, yeah, sure, he's cute, but like he knows he's cute and he's kind of a D-bag about it. And we were all like, it doesn't matter.
they're
He's so
14-year-olds.
beautiful.
Like, what is he supposed
why
to
does
be
he want
like?
to talk to
What is he supposed to be
14-year-olds?
like?
No.
What's up,
This
ladies?
is my high school cheerleading coach.
Oh, coach. Okay.
I see.
Her
well, she
roommate,
probably.
so they're in their, she was like probably 21, 22. Her roommate married Travis
Okay,
Gaffney.
so she was
of age.
Was she hot?
Yeah, she's pretty hot, man. But, I mean, I don't know if she was there solo or what. I just remember her coming in with like old printed out like disposable camera photos of her and Grady Sizemore, and all of us were losing our minds.
Wow.
Well, the
cheerleading coach.
Anytime Grady Sizemore comes up and people bring up Grady's ladies, it's one of the saddest things ever.
Why?
If you know the story of how Grady's ladies ended, the founder of it was murdered by her boyfriend.
Oof.
Yeah.
Nobody else wanted to take up the mantle? Nobody else wanted to keep the Grady's ladies going?
Trying to put an end to it.
Oh, boy. They were short a lady after that.
I love you, but please don't touch my vagina.
That was Mary's high school cheerleading coach upon meeting one Grady Sizemore. Hey, let me give you this money here as promised. It's $1,000. It's courtesy of the Buzzard Bookie. Good luck.
This is your chance to bet with the Buzzard Bookie and win $1,000 now. Enter this nationwide keyword at WMMS.com. Deposit. That's deposit. Enter it now at WMMS.com.
A little programming note that our friend Dr. Ryan Berglund from the Cleveland Clinic is going to join us one last time in 2023. This Friday, he's come in and joined us for the better part of a decade. And he is a surgical urologist at the Cleveland Clinic. And he does a segment with us called Is It Red, where he takes calls and texts and messages from you guys who might have some weird stuff going on down there in the strike zone. And he'll be here to help. So that'll be Friday afternoon. So if you have, maybe you can't listen live, you can always email me ahead of time. You're free to keep yourself anonymous. If that makes you feel better, Alan at AlanCoxShow.com, and I'll just put it in my Is It Red file. But Dr. Ryan Berglund will be here on Friday. If you listen on the iHeartRadio app, you can leave us messages anytime you want, a little talkback button there.
I always knew Poundcake was a little bit of a juggalo. Mad mother loving, wicked clown love, whoop whoop.
Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, because we were talking about Faygo Red Pop yesterday, and Poundcake. So now Poundcake's like a honorary juggalo.
In magnets, how do they work?
That's cool.
That's right. Whoop, whoop.
I was kind of curious to see how the meeting of the Juggalos go.
You should go.
It's in the summertime.
I know.
He's never gone.
I would go.
We have to send him as our roving reporter one of these years.
I did a wedding out in the town where they had it this year, I think. Wasn't it in
Thornville or Thornhill? Yeah.
Thornville.
Was that
Ohio?
east of Columbus?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of the country.
Oh, they had a wedding there.
No. I did a wedding out there before the meeting of the Juggalos.
That's what I mean. Like you were in the same area where they have the gathering?
Yes, I've been to that town, and it's just very, very tiny, but a lot of land.
Right. Well, it's lucky that you got there before the gathering, because otherwise it would have been a wedding. Probably would have been still a lot of debris, right? A lot of detritus from the juggalos and stuff, and juggalettes.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Like a little meth packets and stuff.
Just a little meth packet.
Lying around, staples that had come out of some guy's testicles. Just things like that. That on your tentative summer schedule for next year. We'll send you out to the gathering. And you won't get a Hatchet Man tattoo on your thigh?
No, I'm not
on
gonna
your calf?
Good.
I'm not going to mark my body, no.
Mark your body. Just mark it.
God, I used to love when this would have been late 90s. I'd only been in the business for a few years. But the Insane Clown Posse used to be on Hollywood Records, which was owned by Disney. And so their third or fourth album comes out, late 90s. And Disney got all these complaints from these religious groups. The album's called The Great Milenko. This is early in the ICP catalog. And Hollywood Records had put it out. And I think they were excited because they knew that these guys had a pretty big fan base, except they got so much heat for it that the day it was released, Disney recalled, they shipped 100,000 units. And the day it was released, Disney recalled all of them back and dropped the Insane Clown Posse as if they didn't even know who these guys were or what they did. Now, what that's going to do for you, though, is it's going to give you a massive sales boost. So they recalled most of those. But the next album that ICP put out, it like debuted at number 3 or something in the late 90s. And so that Disney helped them out a lot. It was a win-win because Disney didn't have to get boycotted. And it was huge for the Insane Clown Posse because they got a big boost in sales. And then they got immediately signed to another record label. But back in the day, you know, you'd get promotional radio stations and record stores would get promotional copies of CDs. Way back it was albums, but it would be stamped on it. You know, you'll see it at like the CD exchange and stuff because those people don't care. They'll take whatever you give them. But every so often you'll see one that says not for sale. Promotional copy, not for sale. Because technically it was illegal to sell them. But if you have those in your CDs anywhere and you take them to like a CD exchange, they don't care. So those CD resale shops are full of promotional copies. But those old ICP records, at least that one that got dumped. Hey, Kevin.
Yes.
What's going on?
Nothing. I was just driving to pick my kid up from school and heard you guys talking about debris after ICP shows.
Yeah.
They used to have that gathering at Nelson's Ledges outside of Garrettsville.
Oh, yeah.
And for 2 or 3 years, a band that I went to the festivals for would follow them every week.
Who was that?
We would. The main band was Acoustic Hookah out of Columbus.
Oh yeah.
Square batteries, the square batteries, the
9 volts.
Ds, whatever they are. Yeah, the 9 volts.
9 volts.
And crushed and non-crushed Faygo cans all over the place. So we would.
Did that product inspire me to watch my wife get railed by other men?
Well, you said you like the idea of...
I like the idea of it for people who might need that. There are a lot of guys.
No, like for the corners of the bed, like the sheet stain on the bed.
I try not to leave a big sheet stain on the bed. I like to shower frequently. And I like to engage in proper hygiene. No, I think the idea, listen, it might not be my kink, but there's a lot of people into that. I think the cuck tuck would be perfect for them. Because when you have somebody over to your house to rail your wife, you're going to be laser focused on the sheets, specifically the fitted sheet. Because hopefully you're an adult and so you don't use a top sheet. But that fitted sheet, very, very important. You don't want it flying up, anything like that. Plus, they were all sold out. I went online and they were all sold out.
There it is. Yeah. It got the AC bump.
They got the Buy Squire boost.
Before we did the Buy Squire boost. I love that. It should have bought it before we did that segment.
Yeah. I'm going to take a break here. If you want to send a text, 35192 to do that, AlanCoxShow.com. You can watch live, and we'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you go on our free iHeartRadio app. Buzzard Radio.
The Buzzard
is Rover.
3, 2, 1, go.
It's just one of those days. My monster's out. And Alan Cox.
Who is this? And what is this?
I'm home of the Cavaliers.
Hey, it's Cavaliers censor Jared Allen.